Krishna 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 Hare Ram. Krishna 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 Hare Ram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Tuesday. It is the 15th of October. It is Ashwini Masa, Padmanabha Masa, Shukla Paksham, Trayodasi Tithi. No Vaishnava events in the calendar, so we shall quickly move into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring from Sukadeva Goswami to speak and to encourage him to speak on the different people in different planetary systems, how the people exist, what is their life, and what they do. Likewise, he is inquiring. So yesterday he was asking, पुरुष अवयवैः लोकाः सपालाः पूर्वकल्पिताः लोकैः अमुष्य अवयवाः सपालैः इति शुश्रुम. O Sukadeva Goswami, I have heard that there are different people in different planet systems and their lifespan is spread in a different way. So please explain what is the actual position of it, the actual position of those people. I wanted to know all those things. Likewise, Parikshit is mentioning to Sukadeva Goswami. He wanted to know about it. So in that sequence, today Parikshit wanted to know uh, the nature of the time factor and also how this time factor would act on the different people in the different planetary systems. And also this time is the it makes the living entities to act on their to start their karmic activities. And this time also there is a short and long and different dimensions of the time, like in minutes and then hours and different ways. Likewise, he wanted to know all those details of the time factor. So likewise, Parikshit is today is inquiring from Sukadeva Goswami. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8 and verse number 12 and 13. So here these are all questions Parikshit wanted to know. यावाङ्कल्पो विकल्पो वा यथा कालो अनुमीयते भूतभव्यभवशब्दः आयुर्मानं शयत्सतः. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va, and yavan as it is, kalpaha, the duration of time between the creation and annihilation, and vikalpaha, subsidiary creation and annihilation. This is yavan kalpo vikalpo va. So what is the time factor? So if we see what is the time factor, kalpa means from what is the time factor from today to difference between today and tomorrow? It is 24 hours. This is kalpa is the duration of time between creation and annihilation. It is similar kind of comparison. And vikalpaha, subsidiary creation and annihilation. Yavan kalpa vikalpova yata kala anumiyate. And also yata kala factor anumiyate is measured, how it is measured. And also bhota bhavya bhav and then past, future and present. Shabdaha, the sound. So this time factor is calculated like past time, present time, and future time. So it is divided into number of ways. Ayurmanamsha yat sataha, and duration of life and measurement also yat sataha, which is of the all the living beings in all planetary systems. So likewise, Parikshit is inquiring present time, past time, and future time, and also lifespan of the living entities in different planetary systems. And also, what is the time duration between the kalpa and um, so kalpa between two kalpas? यावान् कल्प विकल्पो वा यथा कालो अनुमीयते भूतभव्य भवशब्दः आयुर्मानं च यत्सतः. So translation for this verse. Also, please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living beings known as the demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe. And purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Past, present, and future are different features of time to indicate the duration of life for the universe and all its paraphernalia, including the different living beings in different planets. And then next verse. So, kalasya anugatiryaatu lakhyate anvi bhrutyati yavatyaha karmagatayo yadrusihi dvijasattama. Kalasya anugatiryaatu. Kalasya anugatiriyatu. So here Parikshit is asking Kalasya of the eternal time, Anugatihi, the beginning, Yatu as they are, Lakshate, and how it can be experienced, that time factor, how it has been. Kalasya anugatiriyatu, Lakshate, Anvi Bruhatyapi. Anvi is the small, Bruhatyapi is the great, Api, even. Yavatyaha karmagatayo. Yavatya karmagatayaha. In terms of the work performed, as long as it is in terms of work performed, yadrushihi, as it may, dvijasattama, O purest of the Brahmanas. So he wanted to know, kalasya anugatihi yatu lakshati anvi bhvatyapi yavatyaha karmagatayo yadrushihi dvijasattama. O translation for this verse, O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of different duration of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action. So there is no purport for this verse. So just for this one, a little glimpse of it. So about the Brahma's creation of different people in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he has explained after Brahma was born from the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So he has created a different living entities. So starting from the demigods, like uh, they are demigods like demigods, forefathers, asuras, demons, gandharvas, and apsaras, or angels, yakshas, rakshas, the siddhas, charanas, and vidyadharas, bhutas, pretas, pishachas, superhuman beings, and celestials. All are created by the Brahma. So these are the different varieties of it. And then whenever it comes to the time factor, so this is the calculation of time from the atom. So here it is given the parama, it starts from the paramanu. Paramanu is which cannot be divided, which is not composed of anything else. It is the minute particle. And two paramanus are called one anu. And when three anus are called one thrasarenu. And thrasarenus are when we see the sunlight through the window, and then within that one, some small particles are floating towards the upwards direction. Towards the upwards direction, they are called thrasarenus. So those calculations are given, and so I just wanted to show this one. So the here and then Truti, it starts from Truti, and this Truti is made up of the 3 Trasarenus, that is 18 Paramanus are called 130. So, and then the time to the 30 is also calculated like uh, uh, the time it takes to mix this 18 Paramanus, it is called Truti. So that is how it is calculated here, or uh, the time to cross this uh, Trasarenus. So kind of that. So here that starts from time like a 130. This is the starting calculations. One Veda and Lava, Nimesha, and one Kshana, Kasta, Lagu, Danda, Prahara, and one day. So, and here in between Danda and Prahara, there should be one Muhurta as well. So this is the time calculation according to our humans. This is one of it, and then further there is again one more of calculations. Maitreya Rishi was explaining this to Vidura. Is the 19th shloka. So in this 19th shloka, it is given the time factor of the demigods, how long they would live. Okay, so here the duration of such a millennium equals to 4,800 years of the years of the demigods. The duration of Treta Yuga is of 3,600 years of demigods. The duration of Dwapara Yuga is equals to 2,400 years of demigods. These are all duration of demigods. And that of the Kali millennium is 1,200 years of the demigods. So this is the calculation of the demigods' lifespan. And then, so here Prabhupada is explaining aforementioned 1 year of the demigods equal to 360 years of the human beings. The duration of the Satya Yuga is therefore 1.728 uh, 1.78 million years. And then duration of Treta Yuga is the 1.296 million years. And the duration of Dwapara Yuga is 0.864 million years. And that Kali Yuga is the for 32,000 years. So this is the different calculations. So here the time factor which is representing and measuring, it is Maitreya Rishi says that it is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kalaha Paramadustaraha. So this is Sakalaha Paramanurvai Yo Bhunkte Paramanutam Sato Avishesha Bhugyastu Sakalaha Paramo Mahan. So everything based on the calculation of the Paramanu, and how in order to cross that Paramanu, the time is calculated. In order to cross that time, so this cross that Paramanu, the time is calculated. It is mentioned here. So atomic time is measured according to its covering a particular atomic space. The time which covers the unmanifest aggregate of atoms is called the great time. And then that is how it is calculated later on. 3 Trasarenus are 130, and to meet all of these things. So this one also comes in the next one. So the 30 is the division of gross time is calculated as follows. 2 atoms make one double atom. 3 double atoms make one hexatom. This hexatom is visible in the sunshine. This is called Tuti, sorry, Trasarenu. And then which enters through the holes of the window screen. One can clearly see the hexaton goes upwards the sky. And then further, he explains about the time duration needed for the integration of 3 Trasarenus is called a Truti. And 100 Tutis make one Veda, 3 Vedas make one Lava. So this is kind of the calculation of the time. It is bit of calculations, the time and factors. Initially, it may be a bit, we need to digest these calculations initially, but later on when we see it, at that time we understand. Initially, we cannot understand that much straight away, all our calculations. So here, Parikshit is asking all about the time factors and how they act on the different living entities who live in different planets. That is yavan kalpa vikalpo va kalo animiyate bhota bhavya bhavashabdah ayurmanam shayatsatah कालस्य अनुगतिर्यातु लक्ष्यते अन्वीभृत्यपि यावत्यः कर्मगतयो यादृशीः द्विजसत्तमा. So here in the currently the Brahma is living, there are different kalpas like the Brahma kalpa, Padma kalpa, Varaha kalpa, like that. And he lives for the two half of his paradhas. So he already lived half of his one paradha. Now he is living second paradha. So that means 50 years have already passed away. He is now 50, at least 50 years old. Now it is now we are in the Varaha Kalpa in the second Paradha of Brahma. Okay, so that is and within this, but we don't know the calculations of in which day he is in right now, but we are in the millennium starting from the Swayam Bhumanu. Now we are in the Vaivashta Manvantara. It is the calculations are unlimited. Okay, so these are high level information that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, these are very complicated questions by Parikshit Maharaj, but we will see more detail later on third canto and fifth cantos. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly move into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Shyama April 24th, 1970, Los Angeles. Can I request Jahna Kanya Mataji to read this letter, please? Hare Krishna Jahna Kanya Mataji. Okay, can I request Murda Sachi Mataji in case available?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My dear Sam Sundar, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter dated 20th April 1970 regarding George's forward your right to say that certainly there will be no more changes. Do you mean that the change will you have already suggested in your letter dated 11th April with the question from the Swami Vivekananda are to be added? We cannot add any quotation from the Swami Vivekananda. In a letter of April 11th, you have asked me to insert what right has a man to say he has a soul if he does not feel it, or that there is a God if he does not see him. Do you mean I have to put in my Krishna book all these nonsense quotations? This man Vivekananda has no understanding either of soul or of a God, and still he has posed himself as the Swami to mislead so many innocent persons. Understanding of the existence of soul is the beginning of teaching of Bhagavad Gita. If one has no understanding of the soul and God, he is no better than animals because animals cannot have any idea of the soul or a God. So how can I add these nonsense quotations? George's forward as it was originally sent can be published with a little editorial change, but in no case can the quotation from the Swami Vivekananda be placed in my book. You have already admitted it in a letter dated 11th April that it hurts you to see this change. Uh, Quoting a rascal like Vivekananda, so please let me know clearly what you want me to do. If you think that George's forward will help the selling of the books, then it may be published as it was originally sent. I'm glad to learn that the George is chanting now Hare Krishna with you, and that will make him advance. You right to say that George is still not convinced that there is not something beyond the form of or a body of Krishna. He is thinking that beyond Krishna there is a unmanifest God. These are all Babu questions. I think my unmanifest God, he mean impersonal Brahma. This is quite natural for person who try to understand God by their own endeavor. God cannot be understood by a such ascending process of speculations. You can give a common example how God cannot be understood by a ascending process. Take for example that there was a one Mr. John who has the great grandfather of the grandfather of George. So if George want to know about this Mr. John, his forefather, is it possible for him to know about the Mr. John by speculation? He has to know about Mr. John by family history spoken by his father or a grandfather. Similarly, God is the supreme father. So, if anyone wants to know about God, he must try to understand him through the history of creation. This is called a Parampara system. This Bhagavad Gita is spoken by God Himself, and that is the best source of knowledge, best source of knowing about God. He cannot be known by our limited exercise of the senses. The difficulty of understanding God as a person is that as soon as there is a conception of person, we think of God as a person like us. Therefore, in the Vedas, the personality of God is described in a different way, which are distinct from our personalities. The Veda says that the God has no legs or hands, but still he accepts all the sacrificial offering. He has no eyes, but he can see everywhere, past, present, and future. He has no ears, and still he hears everything that you are talking. He knows every nook and corner, but nobody knows him, what he is. He has nothing to do, and nobody is equal to or greater than him. He has got immense potencies, and therefore everything in his creation is performed as perfectly as anything. In the Bhagavad Gita also there are many statements confirming the above Vedic description. So when Vedas say that he has no hands and legs, he has no eyes, he has no ears, but still he can accept our sacrificial offering and he can see everything. This statement clearly indicate that the God has hands and legs, but they are not exactly like ours. In the Bhagavad Gita, you will find the Krishna says, I am sitting in everyone's hearts, and from me one remembers, forget, speculates, and so on. His name is Rishikesha, which means the master of all saints. We are exercising our sense, therefore, according to his direction. In that sense, if every living entity is working under his direction, then all the legs and hands which are existing all over his creation are his legs and hands. We are simply instrumental. When the Veda says that he has nothing to do, it means that he has so many hands and legs that personally he has nothing to do. It is not very difficult to understand that a big businessman is sitting in his room and thousands of workers are engaged in different activities under his direction. So particularly the businessman brain is working, but when we see the businessman alone in the room, we see that he is not working. So we have to understand God from authoritative source by spiritual education, by being trained under the experience, guidance of self-realization personality. Otherwise, how he can understand such a vast subject matter dilating about God? So George's question that there is something beyond Krishna is answered by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that there is a nothing superior beyond himself. Krishna is the original cause of all causes. This is the fact. If he wants to know the subject matter clearly, then he should be prepared to receive the knowledge from the right source. And if he wants to consult such person who have no knowledge of the soul or God, then how can he learn about the transcendental subject matter? If he is serious to know about this thing, then he must know if it from the proper channel. You cannot learn music from a carpenter. If you want to learn music, then you have to approach an expert musician. So how he can learn about God from person like Vivekananda, who had no preliminary knowledge of the soul even. So best thing is, if he is serious to know about God, tell him to be reading Vedic literature, and we have published our Ishopanishad. Let him seriously read this book, and whenever he has to question, he can ask from us. And but he should always remember that he should try to know about God from a person who is in touch with the God, not from a speculator. You have asked me to disclose my dream about John, so I beg to state the incident as follows. I dreamed that John took me in a place at the Kolkata, and he was showing me a house, a big platinum building, which formerly belongs to a very rich man, and he was a famous musician. Also, I think therefore that John was previously that the man to whom that house belonged, and now he has taken birth in England. It is quite possible that he has inherited his past musical talent, and because that man was very liberal and charitable, so he has acquired some wealth also. And now in this life, if he properly utilize his talent and wealth for Krishna, then surely you will achieve the highest performance of his life. Hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever will serve ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhupada is telling to Sam Sundar that what exactly he should put like a quotation from the Vivekananda, because he is like not non-devotee. And another thing is that we should not speculate, or we should not take the Vedic knowledge from any person. We should, if we have some question of, if we want to know about God, we should connect to the devotee, like who is following the Vedic. Otherwise, we will get the wrong message. As Prabhupada said, if somebody, as Prabhupada said, that zone, if somebody want to know about a zone, uh, he have to ask his grandfather or his family member. So no, otherwise they cannot get the real message of Mr. John. So as like that, we should not speculate, or we should not think by ourselves about the God, that God has eye or no ear or no, but because each 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 and every part work all, he's not like as a material thing or as a human being. This is all, Prabhu. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It's a long letter. You have read very nicely and summarized. Thank you. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add to this letter? I think this is very thoughtful letter to everyone. Everyone is thinking differently. So I think it is good if you share your thoughts. Jahna Kanya Mataji.
I got a cold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Yeah.
My system, I couldn't speak earlier on because the system didn't allow me.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Hanma Mataji, you wanted to share anything on this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is
the letter is very nice regarding the taking the knowledge from only a proper source, as you said. Like if you want to learn music, you don't go to a carpenter, but you go to a musician. And also, I got to learn a new thing from this letter, and that was a conflict between Swami Vivekananda and Srila Prabhupada. Before, I didn't realize that there was conflict between them, and I got to know that as well. And yeah, that's what I got from the letter. I think the letter, it is quite deep, and I wouldn't want to take out wrong meaning from it, because I think the lesson in this is very deep.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So here, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa mission, and which they are spreading this Vivekananda's philosophy. It is a mental speculations. They preach on the mental speculations. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning in the beginning here itself, quotations from Swami Vivekananda are to be added. So we cannot add any quotation from Swami Vivekananda. So he says that what right has a man to say that he has a soul if he does not feel it, or that there is a God if he does not see him? Do you mean I have to put? So these are all speculations, mental speculations. We do not have to speculate. We have got clear understanding from Bhagavad Gita. Who spoke? Krishna spoke. And Krishna, what did Krishna says? This is imam vivaspate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manve praha madhuritvakve bravit. And then evam parampara praptam imam rajasyo viduhu sakale namahata yogo nastha parantapa. And he says, aham bija pitah prata. So I am the seed giving father. And he gives entire knowledge to us. And we are individual souls. Natpevaham jatunasam natpam nemi janadipaha. So we exist in the past, we are existing now. Similarly, we exist in the future, but only the bodies would change. But people, because they do not see the bodies, they speculate in so many ways. And they take some orange clothes and then they speak whatever they think. That is called speculation, mental speculations. So that's why one has to cut these mental speculations, take the knowledge as it is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, historical points, Mahabharata, where that is a history. And there where the Srimad Bhagavad Gita was embedded in it. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives completely knowledge of the soul, super soul, and Krishna's pastimes, so that one can hear everything. Understanding of the existence of soul is the beginning of teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. See, there we don't speak on the material platform. And Prabhupada is mentioning, so such kind of, Krishna says that Santa eva asindanti mano vyasanga mukti bihi. One has to relieve or cut these mental speculations. Why one will have mental speculations? He has got something. He doesn't want to render himself service to the Krishna. That's why he would speculate and he would like to escape from the devotional service. That is the purpose. That's why I wanted to merge in the Supreme Brahman. So I do not have to subordinate to the Lord. If it is, I merge with the Krishna. So this is the kind of speculations from the people, impersonalists. But actually, in the spiritual planet, if we wanted to enter into the spiritual planet, so spiritual planets within the Brahma Jyoti, there are so many spiritual planets exist. Out of those, the topmost one is the Goloka Vrindavana. So just like this is a country, in the country there are so many houses, but there is a palace, a king's palace. If you go inside the palace, there is and also not only one palace, king has got so many different, in towns, he has got different forts and palaces. If we go inside, there we see the authority, the king, we can see the king and we can meet him, speak to him, and if we serve him very nicely, he will allow us to stay with him. That is the very simple. And as long as we serve him, otherwise, I also wanted to sit in next to you on your throne. How does it look like? Or I wanted to merge with you. I wanted to enjoy the same thing as with you. It is not our desire. Though if I have got the service attitude, then King will allow us to live with him, to eat with him, to experience the same opulence as him. That is the nature of the devotee. Devotee get all these things, but what attitude we should be having is the service attitude to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is required. That gives that attitude develops in the Krishna consciousness, devotional service, but not through any mental speculations. That's why bhakti is mentioned. There are no jnana, karma yogi. It is not given any test for those things. Yoginamapi sarvesham madgate nantaratmana. So Krishna says that yoginamapi sarvesham madgate nantaratmana. Uh, and what is the second line, dear devotees? So he is the topmost of all the yogis. That is Krishna mentions that one in the Bhagavad Gita. And not only that, you all throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, it is only stressing. There are so many yogis are there, but when it comes to the devotees will overpower. But they are because their humble attitude. For example, Ambarish Maharaj. So even very humble devotee. Durvasa Muni is a big yogi. But still, so he has to come to the feet of Ambarish Maharaj later on because of his offenses. That is the position of a devotee. But a devotee never take any counteractive actions to anyone else. So he is always humble because he is a servant of the Supreme Personality of God. He develops all the divine qualities which are in the demigods. Sarvaihi gunaihi tatra samasati suraha. All the qualities of demigods are in the devotees. But here, when we speculate, we do not derive any knowledge from the mental speculators. Muni means it is mental speculator. And here Prabhupada is giving, there are two processes. One is the ascending process and another one is the descending process. Pravritti Marga, Nivritti Marga. Devotional service is the Nivritti Marga, is clearing of all kinds of impurities, the material conceptions, just removing. It is a descending process. Nivritti Marga. Savai Nivritti Dharmena Vasudevanu Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena Tirudatte Seneriha. So far we have come to this part. So now we have seen and so many of pains of this material world. This is Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Now just get rid of all these things. Let's go back to Godhead. Back to Godhead, not forward to the Pravritti. Pravritti Marga is enjoyment, enjoyment, enjoyment. There are many people, they wanted to acquire many of opulences and enjoy it. And they wanted to experience. That way, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is called the ascending process. Acquiring the opulences and so many other things. That is ascending process. Pravritti Margam. But Krishna consciousness is the Nivritti Margam. So whatever we have got, we offer everything to Krishna. Whatever, either tapasya or knowledge or wealth, anything, or charity, everything to be given to only Krishna. Tapasvino, Danapara, Yasvino, Manasvino, Mantrivida, Sumangalaha, Kshemam na vindanti vina, Yadarpanam, Tasmai Subdrasravase, Namo Namaha. So until we offer to Krishna, Nakshemam Vinanti Vina, accept that. Yadarpanam to whom? Krishna. Then Kshemam na Vindanti. So these are the sastric injunctions. Everything has to be dovetailed in Krishna only. So here Vivekananda and some Ramakrishna Paramhamsa mission, they speculate. So there is always some conflict. So some impersonalism and mental speculations. But Krishna consciousness is not like that. It is every instruction is clear. We do not speculate. This is from Bhagavad Gita, take it as it is. That's why Bhagavad Gita as it is. Srimad Bhagavatam, take it as it is. What it means to me, render service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is samsiddhir haritoshanam, to please the Lord. This Varnashrama is only to please the Lord, not for any speculations. So everything is clear. Why we have to speculate? There are many people, they speculate, you enjoy as much as you want, and then It doesn't matter what comes later on. We have got only one life. Some people, they spread the knowledge like that. There is one Muni also, there is Charvaka Muni. So as much as possible, you if you do not have money, you steal and then you buy the ghee and then prepare nice palatable dishes and enjoy. It doesn't matter whether next birth is there or not, we don't know. As long as basmi bhutasya dehasya, um, once the body is destroyed, how can you would see all those things again? Such kind of peoples, they existed. Even the Munis also. We do not take such kind of philosophy from the Munis. So this is devotional service. Prabhupada is explaining with the I have got my father, his father, his father, like that. If we just trace back, this is a tracing back. What is the root? What is the root and root cause? Krishna is the root. Root cause is the it is our desires. That's why we have been here. What should be done? Our desires needs to be changed back. Amayo yasha bhutanam yena yena jayate surata tadevi amayam dhavyam na punati chikichitam. Because of the disease condition, we have separated from Krishna. This is amaya. But tadevi amayam dhavyam na punati chikichitam. When those desires, infected desires, if we just change to serve Krishna, immediately it will turn into as a medicine. And it will cure the disease and he will go back to Krishna. As simple as that. And he will enjoy, as long as he is in this body, in this life, he will experience good life, very clear and pure life. So that Prabhupada wanted to give this knowledge as it is, not from the material speculations, mental speculators. Because of this, in the world, the proper knowledge is not distributed properly. That's why Prabhupada has his books and everything is in very clear cut. Everyone would accept it. If Prabhupada has given this book before Vivekananda, even he would have been devotee, but he got knowledge from somewhere else. So this is the Vedic knowledge. It always bewilders. There are so many bewildering or contradictory statements, but one has to learn from the learned person. Tad viddhi pranipāten pariprashyena sevaya. Upadekshinte jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Who has seen the truth? Tattvadarshinaha. So that Prabhupada is mentioning with the one has to learn. If you wanted to be spiritually advanced, you have to go to the spiritual master, not to the mental speculator. One cannot immediately come as sprouting like a mushroom in the time of thundering and then show posing himself as a spiritually advanced person. He cannot do like that. And also he has to be pure devotee of Krishna as it is. Not the devotee of Kali or something like that. Not in that tradition. Not in that lineage. But we have got sampradayas, four sampradayas or Madhva Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, and then Kumara Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya. Four sampradayas, and these are the authentic way to become a devotee of the Lord. We have to take the instructions from these authorities. Okay, so this Prabhupada is explaining here. So this is now in this life, if he properly utilizes his talent and wealth for Krishna, then surely he will achieve the highest perfection of his life. So likewise, Prabhupada is mentioning all this very enlightening letter, and it gives so much of thoughts to everyone. But here in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna sees that Vishwarupa form, like Pasyami Devam Stavadeva Dehe Sarvam Sata both Vishesha Sangan Brahmanimisham Kamalasana Rushim Sarvan Urugamsha Divyan. He sees so many living entities within the body of Krishna's universal form. Aneka Bahudra Bhaktara Netram Pasyami Tvam Sarvato Ananta Rupam Nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pasyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. When Arjuna is seeing different kinds of so many hands, so many tummies, so many faces, and they are all spread everywhere. When Arjuna is seeing here, why we can't take it as it is? And also Krishna says, Sarvataha Panipadanta Sarvato Akshi Siromukam Sarvataha Tutimalloke Sarvam Avrutyatistati. See, Sarvatah Panipadam Tat. So, these legs and hands, everywhere it is spread. Sarvato Akshitiro Mukam, everywhere eyes, heads, and faces. Sarvatah Sutimalloke, Sarvam Avrutyatistati. The Lord is sitting everywhere. One has to take that knowledge. Why one would speculate? Just the knowledge is there for so many years. Why people come and differently teach? What is their purpose? What is their intention? They wanted to show themselves. That is called sense gratification. Janmaishwara Srivihi Edamana Madapuman Nayuharati Avidatmvai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. Akinchana Gocharam. If we are Akinchana, then Lord will reveal to ourselves. Otherwise, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Srivihi, Edamana, Madah Puman. They are Naivaharati. They are not the qualifications. So this is the statements of Shastras. Okay, so sometimes we also feel bit when people are great people who are famous, when they're speaking nonsensical philosophy, we get bit agitated, disturbed. But like this, there are many people. That's why in India, there are so many varieties of Bhusha, Akashi, Anantaksha, Buddhayo, Avyesayanam. Krishna also mentions. But if you have got a strong faith in one thing, I wanted to go back to Godhead, then that is Vyavasayatmika Buddhihi Ekehe Kurunandana. Be determined in the devotional service. Don't go and speculate in different ways. Take knowledge as it is from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, progress. You do not have to go to different lineages. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is giving so much of enlightenment in this letter to Shaman Sundara. Okay, that is my takeaway. Thank you. And from the announcements point of view, so today is preaching practice session at 8 o'clock with Sharanya Mataji. Okay, that is from the announcement point of view. Dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, if there are no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with our further japa. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Let go take
अनन्तकोटि
Lord
वैष्णववृन्द
the
की
teacher,
जय।
Prabhupada की
श्रील
जय.
प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर